This is Head Harvester Bill Arman from the West Coast.
And Head Harvester Ed LaFlamme from the East Coast.
Head Harvester Steve Cesare from coast to coast.
Now today's topic is a big one here, folks. Employee discipline. There's a right way, which we're going to go over today, and there's a wrong way, which maybe a few of us are practicing out there right now. So Harvester Steve, we've got the expert here, HR expert, Harvester Steve.
We're going to try.
So walk us through it.
So Ed, because this is involving employee discipline, I want you to take special note, okay?
Okay.
So for us, just keep in mind, everybody, when we're giving an employee discipline, it usually comes down to one of two types of issues. One type of discipline could be a policy violation, where they simply did something wrong. They were smoking in the wrong place, they made an off-the-cuff comment, or they did something wrong. They didn't have their PPE. So that one type of acute event could be a policy violation that's articulated in the employee handbook. That's contrasted to a performance issue where they're doing work slowly, they have a bad attitude, just something more chronic in nature. So employee discipline is usually a policy violation or a performance issue. Whenever you're talking about employee discipline to somebody, always start with a goal reference. So Ed, we're going to give you performance management today because you have not met the customer service goal. You have not met the labor efficiency goal. You have violated our safety goal. By focusing on the business construct of a goal, you're taking away all the personal elements. It's not that we don't like Ed or Bill's this type of person. By only focusing on the goal, it keeps it very business oriented.
So it's like objective.
Exactly.
Either
right.
meeting your gross margin or you're not.
Exactly right.
You're
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So we're focusing on the goal and the accountability, not the person's character. Okay?
Got it.
Whenever you're giving employee discipline, always try to be as calm as possible, because it's not you having power over the employee, and it's not the employee being submissive or being hurt or whatever. So always try to be as calm as possible, because you never know how the employee is going to respond.
So you're doing this in a room with a bunch of other people?
Probably should have, I think you should always have 2-on-1. Good question, Harvester Bill. Always have a witness available. So if we were giving feedback
To
Ed, okay, I would be giving the
Bill.
feedback to Ed, and Bill would be my witness to make sure I didn't say anything racist, sexist, any type of procedural violation.
No.
Because if it's only done one-on-one, Ed could always make allegations about me, and that could just, completely blow it all up. So
He
always have
said,
a
she
witness.
said, right? He
Exactly
said, she
right.
said, yeah.
Okay.
Always have a witness. Good question. So from there, always discuss the incident very calmly as possible, because you never know if the person's going to be, very emotional or upset or accusatory or things like that. So walk them through what they did, what your investigation found, and go from there. It's very important, and I know you folks probably don't believe me, that when you're at the very end of your employee discipline session, you have to say something like, and you have to use these 3 key words, okay? Based upon the feedback that I've given to you, I want you to demonstrate immediate, significant, and sustained improvement, okay? If you don't say those 3 words, the person can say, well, Ed, we want you to improve your performance. And Ed could say, oh, you wanted me to start right away? Yeah, so by saying it's immediate, he has to start as soon as he leaves the meeting. Second, if we said, Ed, we met with you last week and we gave you some feedback, and he could say, oh, I did improve, but just a little bit. By saying it has to be significant improvement, it has to be noticeable to the customer.
and objective terms as well, right?
Exactly
you get from
right.
38% gross margin to 42% gross margin by X date.
Right,
Something
not
like that.
38.1% gross
Right,
margin. It's
right.
got to be something noticeable. And the third has to be sustained. So Ed could say, well, I did improve for the first 2 weeks, but then I just went back to my old ways.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, the performance improvement has to be immediate, significant, and sustained. After you give those 3 instructions to the person, then you have to let the person know, Ed, failure to reach these performance goals or meet those performance levels, there's a contingency issue that other performance management can be applied to you up to and including termination. So now he knows he's accountable for doing some type of follow-up.
That's pretty key, because they don't know the consequences.
Exactly
The
right.
consequences, they have to understand that's a possibility.
Is all this in writing as well?
Yeah.
Follow with writing?
I mean, it probably should be on the employee feedback form, Ed, so there should be some type of script, just to make sure you're doing it consistently across all employees.
Sounds like a pretty serious, because you could be terminating them. So
exactly right.
they've got to be in very defensive.
Very much so.
Yeah, yeah.
So going from that point, when you give the person employee feedback or discipline like that, make sure you write it all down. Make sure you have the person sign it. If he chooses not to sign it, the witness can say, oh, the person refused to sign it, and then share it, making sure that it gets filed correctly, the witness approves it, and it gets put in the person's personnel file. Make sure you have that paper trail at all times. And following up, make sure you do meet with the employee a week or so later, just to make sure, hey, how are you doing? Do you understand? Just to make sure you have a little bit of more, some type of confirmation that he understands exactly what's expected of him. So
Good stuff.
it's an important one.
Good
Okay.
stuff. Now here's
Okay.
what we suggest. We're going to have Steve's email down below if you have any additional questions on any of these issues, or you have a live one going right now and you need some help.
Probably do.
Head Harvester Steve here is an expert in this area. He's one of the best, if not the best in the industry, and I really mean that. This is Head Harvester Bill Arden from the West Coast.
And Head Harvester Ed LaFlamme from the East Coast.
Head Harvester for Human Resources Steve Cesare from coast to coast, helping you guys to harvest your potential. So Ed, we got to have a follow-up meeting for you, okay?
Yeah.
You know, we got to write you up.
Wait,
How would you,
but I didn't do anything
would I
wrong,
be the
Steve.
witness in this one?
I've
No,
been,
you're the
I've been good all
prosecution.
this
I'm the
time.
prosecution.
I made my goals. Huh?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
woke up
I've
today.
been following the
You got down
guidelines,
to
the Harvester
5,000 emails
guidelines.
yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good goal.
I stay in the
Yeah,
Harvester
oh,
guidelines
yeah,
the whole
okay.
time.